Lesson 20. The computer is my friend.
Warm-up dialogue. The computer is the biggest difference in the generation gap. Will you put that thing away?
What thing? My computer?
Yes, it's like it's attached to your body. Do you always have it with you?
Almost. I don't know how I'd get through school without it.
That's why we got it for you. But I didn't think we were buying you a new body part.
It's almost like that. It's like my right arm. This computer is my best friend.
I'm afraid that you spend too much time on games and not enough on your studies.
Don't worry. I get my schoolwork done early now, so I have more time to play, that's all. My grades are better than they've ever been.
And you don't exercise.
Now that I listen to my music on my computer, I enjoy exercising more, so I don't find excuses to avoid exercise like I used to.
And most of all, I don't think you socialize enough. The computer isn't a person, it's just a machine. But you spend all your time on it.
A lot of the time is spent chatting with my friends. We don't have to waste time getting together since we can all get in touch with each other instantaneously. So we're all a lot closer now than we used to be. And I've made lots of new friends all over the world. Besides, now I can communicate with Grandpa any time at all, so I feel lots closer to my family.
Maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but I just can't believe that this is a good development in the long run. Questions. 1. What is Philip's mother worried about? 2. What is Philip's explanation? 3. What do you think about Mom's last statement? Do you agree? Pictures talk.
One. Question number 1. Would a computer be helpful in studying or doing your homework? How? Question number 2. A computer is said to be a second teacher. Do you agree? Which one does a better job, the computer or a teacher? Question number 3. Computers are said to be a second parent. Do you agree? In what ways?
2. Question number 1. How often do you enjoy online games? What kinds of games do you usually play? Question number 2. How often do you chat online? What do you usually talk about? With whom? Question number 3. Are your parents worried about your computer usage?
3. Question number 1. How often do you surf the internet? Question number 2. What kinds of websites do you usually visit? Question number 3. Do you check your email every day?
4. Question number 1. Do your parents shop online? Why or why not? Question number 2. What have you bought online? Were you satisfied with the shopping experience? Question number 3. People say online shopping makes us into shopaholics. Do you agree? Why?
5. Question number 1. Do you have a blog? If so, describe it. If not, what kind of blog would you like to have? Question number 2. What are the good things and bad things about having one's own blog? Question number 3. How much time does it take to maintain a good blog?
6. Question number 1. What club activities do you do online? Question number 2. What are good and bad things about doing them online rather than in person? Question number 3. How often do you meet other members face to face? Answer me. One. More memory.
I need a new computer.
Why? Is yours broken? We just got it a few months ago.
It's been over a year, and it won't play the new games I want to play.
Why not?
The memory isn't big enough. I need a new one.
Do you realize how much a new computer costs? We can't just get a new one every year simply because newer ones are faster or hold more games.
But I need it for my homework, too.
You don't have enough memory to do your schoolwork? How many gigs of information do you need? Do you have to write a book every week?
Well, no.
We didn't get you a computer to have fun with. We got it to help you at school. That's all.
Well, if I've finished all my schoolwork, it's okay if I use it for other things too, isn't it?
Yes, but only after you're done.
Then can I at least get more memory? Questions. 1. Do you enjoy video games? Why or why not? 2. Is your computer advanced enough to play all the latest games? What would you like to play but can't? 3. How old is your computer? Do your parents always say yes whenever you ask for a new one?
2. Today's spam eats you.
I hate that.
What?
All this spam. It takes up too much space on my drive, and it takes too long to go through it all to find out what's important.
I know it's frustrating. I don't like spam either, but you can eliminate many of the hassles.
How?
Well, first off, you should never open any email from an unfamiliar address. If you don't know who sent it, it's probably spam, and it might contain a dangerous virus.
I know that, but it still takes a lot of time scrolling through all my mail to identify the ones I don't know.
Haven't you used the screening services your server provides?
I guess not. What are they?
Well, why don't you take me to your computer and I'll show you what I mean.
Okay, send me an email and we'll set up an appointment.
But you don't know my email address. Why would you open any message if you don't know who sent it?
Well, I like to make new friends.
But that's why you're plagued with so much spam. Questions. 1. What do you think about spam? Do you get angry about it or doesn't it bother you much? Or are you one of those people who enjoy spam? 2. Why do people send spam mail? In most cases, what is the sender trying to do? 3. Do you think spammers should be harshly punished by law? What would be an appropriate sentence? 3. Reading is too old-fashioned.
Hi, are you listening to a new CD?
Well, yes, but it's not what you think.
You mean it isn't rap?
Oh, it's rap all right, but it isn't rap music.
I'm confused. What do you mean?
I'm listening to someone read a book.
Why would you do that? Why don't you just read a book on your own?
I do, all the time, of course, but sometimes it isn't convenient, like on a crowded subway or in a car. I just can't concentrate very well then, but I can still listen.
What kinds of e-books do you like?
All kinds. It depends on my mood. But the educational ones are the ones that I listen to most often. I've learned a lot in recent months, especially about ancient history.
Questions. 1. Have you ever read an e-book? 2. What are the advantages and disadvantages of e-books and regular books? 3. Do you think paper books will disappear soon? Give your reasons.
4. Contagion.
Did you finish your report?
Yes, of course. Yesterday. didn't you?
No, I was almost done, but then my computer stopped working.
It's probably a virus.
Yes, that's what my dad thinks too, but it's going to take too long to fix it. I've got to finish my report tonight.
Would you like to use my computer? I'm done.
Can I? That sure would help a lot.
But I want you to be careful. I don't want to get your virus.
Don't worry, I'll be extremely cautious.
Then how did your computer get a virus in the first place if you were so cautious? Questions. 1. How do computers get infected with viruses? 2. Why do some people make viruses and spread them? 3. In cyber germ warfare, which is more likely to win, the viruses or the vaccines? Let's talk more.
One, X's and Q's. The X generation finally seems to have grown up. Thank goodness. But maybe it has been replaced by the Q generation. The Q stands for quiet. Unlike the Xers, who are loud and obnoxious, the Qs enjoy being by themselves. They are not hermits. They have lots of friends, but they'd rather communicate with them privately by email than to go out and meet them in person. They say it is more convenient, safer, and more efficient than personal contact. Questions. 1. Are you a member of the Q generation? 2. Which do you like better, chatting on a computer or being with your friends live? 3. What are the advantages of chatting online? What are the disadvantages?
2. You need more words. Modern computer users are reinventing language. In order to save time, they are inventing a lot of new words and punctuation marks. The words tend to be abbreviations of longer words and phrases, while the punctuation marks are mostly used to provide emotional commentary. As their usage grows, a person who does not chat much online may find it harder and harder to maintain communication with the netizens. But nevertheless, many of the expressions are finding their way into standard dictionaries. Questions. 1. Are you able to use these online expressions easily without having to think about their meaning? 2. List some online acronyms which are commonly used. What expressions do they stand for? 3. Are you worried about the trend? Why or why not?
3. If your computer has all the memory, where is yours? Nowadays, if people want to know about something, they can usually find it out by searching the net. Now, no one has to remember anything since they can get any information they need. They don't even have to go to a library anymore. But is that desirable? What if a massive power outage would erase all the information on the internet? If nobody knew how to do things on their own, would mankind go back into the Stone Age? Questions. 1. What kinds of information do you usually search for, such as academic subjects or hobbies or personal information? 2. You don't have to remember everything thanks to the search engine. And you don't have to study anymore either, right? Why or why not? 3. What roles do teachers have in this internet era? Are they no longer necessary?
4. I don't like my first life. As you may know, some companies are starting to provide customers with a second life in cyberspace, in which they can change themselves into any fictional version they wish. They can become beautiful models, rich CEOs, successful athletes, or brilliant scientists. In short, they may fulfill their wildest fantasies, but only in an imaginary computer-generated world of their own creation. Is this just harmless daydreaming in an electronic age? Or is it likely to become a serious problem as users become more and more detached from reality? Or is it a way of projecting our hopes onto an external reality as a means of actualizing them in the future? Questions. 1. If it were affordable, would you want to establish a second life? How about a third or fourth one? 2. Is this any different than having an avatar in a computer game? If so, how? 3. Reinvent yourself. What kind of second life would you like to have? Be specific. Real talk. If the computer does all the work, would we then be the slaves?
I don't want to be a computer.
Don't worry. You can't ever be one. You're a flesh and blood human being, not a bundle of wires and electrons.
But I don't want to be replaced by a computer either.
What are you concerned about?
Computers are doing almost everything that people used to do, except much faster and without making as many mistakes.
Yes, that's true, especially for repetitive, time-consuming manual labor. But they just do what they're programmed to do. They can't think for themselves. They're actually very stupid, but fast.
But the artificial intelligence technology is developing so quickly. I'm afraid they will soon be able to think and even imagine anything on their own.
Perhaps someday, but I doubt if it will really happen. And if it ever does, it will be far in the future.
But what if it comes true? What could we do? Wouldn't we just become slaves to our machines, relying entirely on them to do all the things we used to do ourselves?
We certainly need to think about this possibility before we allow it to happen. But I strongly suspect that computers will always be our efficient servants, helping us to accomplish the things we want to do, not the other way around. Questions. 1. In your opinion, will computers soon replace people? 2. What do you think about a robot doing all your work? 3. How could you spend your free time if a machine did everything for you?
Read me. Being with someone at a distance. Are face-to-face communications different than networking on a computer, or are they essentially the same? F2F, of course, has an immediacy that electronic communication does not. We can see, hear, smell, and touch each other in ways that can't be duplicated on a monitor. And it is easier to convey our real message through gestures and vocal inflections than it is across the ether. With email or chat rooms, even with the use of emoticons, it's very easy to be misunderstood in terms of our real intent. However, the same criticisms apply to writing letters or talking on the telephone, but that doesn't mean these other means of communication are inferior in any way. What the computer does is make immediate contact possible, cheaply and easily, between people who are widely separated in time and space. And that is a very good thing, don't you think? Questions. 1. What does F2F mean? 2. What are the advantages of personal contact? 3. In what ways is writing a letter better than writing an email? How is talking on the phone better than chatting on a computer?
This is the end of Book 2.